The twin suns were setting behind the glass towers of Varan Station, casting long shadows over the crowded alien market. The air shimmered with heat and noise, sellers shouting in strange tongues, machines humming, and lights flickering from floating signs. Between all this chaos walked a small alien girl named Lyra. Her clothes were old and torn, her skin pale with faint blue veins that glowed softly in the dim light. In her arms she carried a small bag, almost empty, except for a few coins. Her feet were bare and her steps were heavy, but she did not stop. She could not stop. Her little brother was dying. Lyra's brother Rin was only 8 cycles old. His body had been burning with fever for 3 nights. The medicine from the human sector could save him, but it cost more than she could ever earn. So today she had made a choice, a painful one. She had decided to sell her hair. Her hair was silver white, long and shining, rare even among her kind. Alien merchants paid well for it. They used it to weave luxury cloth for rich families. Lyra had always been proud of it. Her mother used to braid it every morning, saying it was the mark of their ancestors. But her mother was gone now, and her brother's breath was fading. So she walked through the market, eyes fixed ahead, ignoring the stares and whispers around her. Humans didn't like her kind. Aliens like her were called glimmers because of the light under their skin. Most glimmers worked as servants or beggars on Varan Station, but Lyra wasn't begging, not this time. She had come to trade. She stopped before a tall stall filled with wigs and bright fabrics. Behind the counter stood a rough-looking man with a mechanical arm and small eyes that scanned her from head to toe. "What do you want, Glimmer?" he asked. Chewing something bitter, Lyra took a deep breath. "I want to sell my hair," she said softly. The man laughed, a harsh sound that made a few nearby shoppers turn their heads. "You? You're just a child. Who told you your hair is worth anything?" "It is pure," she whispered. "Untouched. I will show you." She pulled down the hood of her cloak. Her silver hair fell like a stream of moonlight down her back. The man's eyes widened slightly. He reached out to touch it, his metal fingers running through the strands. He said slowly. This is real. Finest I've seen in a while." He rubbed his chin, pretending to think. "I can give you maybe 30 credits. Lyra's heart sank. That was not enough, not even half the price of the medicine. "Please," she said. "My brother is sick. I need at least 60. The merchant shrugged. "Then you should pray, not bargain." Tears welled in her eyes, but she tried to stand tall. "You said it's fine quality. It's worth more." He smirked. "Not to me, but I can take it now if you're in a hurry." She looked down at her small bag at the few coins inside. Rin's face flashed before her eyes, weak, shivering, calling her name in the dark. Her throat tightened. "Do it," she whispered. The man grinned, reaching for a pair of sharp cutters. He grabbed a fistful of her hair. The cold metal brushed against her neck. She closed her eyes as the first strand fell to the ground. And then, a voice cut through the noise. "Stop." The sound was firm, human, and full of command. The crowd turned. Standing at the edge of the stall was a man, tall, with dark eyes, and a clean white coat that glowed faintly under the neon signs. A human doctor. His name was Dr. Cole, though Lyra didn't know that yet. "What are you doing?" he asked the merchant. The man sneered. "Business, doctor. She came to sell." "Sell?" the doctor repeated. His gaze softened as he looked at Lyra, a trembling girl with tears running down her glowing cheeks. Her hair half-cut shimmered in the dust-filled air. "How old are you?" he asked quietly. 12, she murmured. "Do you even know what you're doing?" "I need medicine," she said. "For my brother. Please don't stop him. Just let him finish." The doctor's jaw tightened. "And you think your hair is the only thing you can give?" The merchant crossed his arms. "Hey, doctor. Mind your own sector. Humans don't buy alien problems." But the human didn't move. His eyes stayed on Lyra. Something in her voice, the fear, the desperation, stirred something inside him. He had seen hundreds of patients, soldiers and refugees, but this small girl's trembling hands and broken words struck deeper than any wound. "What sickness?" he asked her. Lyra blinked. "He can't breathe. His skin burns. The local medic said only human medicine can cure it, but it costs 60 credits. The doctor looked around. The market lights flickered, and the crowd watched silently. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small tablet, a medical scanner. "Take me to him," he said. The merchant frowned. "You serious? You'll get fined for crossing into alien territory." The human ignored him. "I said, take me to your brother." Lyra hesitated. She had learned never to trust humans. They were the reason her parents had lost their home planet. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw no hatred there, only quiet strength. She nodded slowly. "He's this way," she whispered. As they disappeared into the dark alleyways of the lower market, the merchant spat on the ground. "Stupid human," he muttered. "Helping aliens never ends well." But the doctor didn't hear him, because at that moment, somewhere deep inside, he already knew. This meeting was going to change both their lives forever. The narrow alley behind the market smelled of smoke and old metal. Neon lights flickered above, painting the walls with blue and red shadows. Lyra walked fast, her bare feet slapping against the wet ground, the human doctor following close behind. Dr. Cole held a small medical scanner in his hand, its green light glowing in the dark. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To my brother," she said softly. "He's hiding near the old storage tunnels. Humans don't go there." Cole glanced around. The lower levels of Varen Station were dangerous for anyone, especially a child. Broken droids lay in piles, and strange shapes moved between the shadows. "You shouldn't be here alone," he muttered. Lyra didn't reply. She just kept walking, until they reached a small metal door half covered by posters. She pushed it open with effort. Inside, a faint blue light glowed. Rin was lying on a thin blanket, breathing shallowly. His small body trembled with fever. The blue glow under his skin had turned pale, almost white. Lyra rushed to his side, touching his forehead gently. "Rin, I brought help," she whispered. The boy's eyes opened slightly. You cut your hair?" Lyra forced a smile. "It doesn't matter." Dr. Cole knelt beside him, scanning the boy with his device. Numbers and symbols flashed on the screen. His face darkened. "His blood is infected," he said. "This isn't a normal fever." Lyra looked up, her eyes full of fear. "Can you fix him?" Cole hesitated. "I can, but the medicine is restricted. Human medtech isn't supposed to be used on aliens without permission." "What does that mean?" she asked, voice trembling. "It means if anyone finds out I could lose my job, maybe even be arrested." Lyra blinked, confused. "But you're a doctor. Doctors help people," he sighed. "That's what I believe too." He looked at the boy again. "But not everyone agrees." For a moment, only the hum of the scanner filled the silence. Lyra lowered her head, tears falling quietly. "Then I'll find another way. I'll sell more. Maybe my eyes or—" "Stop," Cole said sharply. "You're not selling anything." She stared at him, stunned. "Then how will I pay?" He looked away for a moment, then back at her. "You don't have to. I'll get the medicine." Lyra's eyes widened. "But you just said, 'I'll get it,'" he repeated firmly. "No one has to know." The girl shook her head. "If the guards see you helping us, they'll hurt you. Humans don't help glimmers. Everyone says that." Cole smiled sadly. Maybe not everyone. Lyra didn't know what to say. No human had ever spoken to her like this. Not with kindness, not with care. For a second, her fear melted into something else. Something warm. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why would you help me?" He paused before answering. "Because I once had a sister who looked just like you. Small, stubborn, and always trying to fix everything by herself. I couldn't save her when she got sick. Lyra's throat tightened. I'm sorry. He shook his head. Don't be. Just let me save your brother. A faint noise came from outside, the low hum of patrol drones. Lyra froze. Through a crack in the metal door, she saw 2 human guards walking past, their armor glowing under the lights. They carried scanners and guns marked with the security division symbol. Cole cursed under his breath. They're searching the market. Someone must have reported me. Lyra's eyes filled with panic. They'll find you here. He looked around the room quickly, then pointed toward a narrow hatch in the wall. There, a maintenance tunnel. Take your brother inside and wait. Don't come out until I say. What about you? I'll distract them. If they ask, I'll say I was treating a patient in the market. Go. She didn't move. They'll take you, she whispered. He gave her a small smile. Maybe, but that's my problem, not yours. For a moment, Lyra just stared at him, this strange human who risked everything for someone he had just met. Then, with trembling hands, she lifted her brother and crawled into the tunnel. Cole turned off the scanner and stood by the door as the footsteps grew louder. Outside, the guards stopped. Dr. Cole, one of them shouted. We were told you helped an alien. Cole took a deep breath and stepped out into the dim light. I help whoever needs saving, he said quietly. The guards exchanged looks. That's a dangerous answer, Doctor. Cole just smiled faintly. Truth usually is. As the soldiers questioned him, Lyra held her brother tightly in the dark tunnel, her heart pounding. She could hear every word, every echo. She didn't understand why a human would risk so much for her. But she knew one thing. She could never forget it. And somewhere deep inside, a spark of hope began to grow. The patrol drones were gone by morning, but the fear stayed. Lyra hadn't slept. She kept her brother close inside the narrow tunnel, listening for every sound from above. When she finally pushed the hatch open, pale light spilled in. The clinic was quiet, broken bottles scattered on the floor. Dr. Cole sat at his desk, his coat torn, a bruise dark on his cheek. He looked up and tried to smile. They searched the place, he said quietly. But they didn't find you. Lyra crawled out, still holding Rin's thin hand. They hurt you, she whispered. He touched the bruise and shrugged. I've had worse. Rin coughed weakly. Cole knelt beside him, scanning again with his tablet. The fever's worse. We can't wait any longer. He opened a small case from his desk drawer. Inside were silver capsules glowing faint green. Lyra's eyes widened. Is that human medicine? He said. It's restricted stock from the central supply. I took it before they sealed my access. Lyra looked frightened. If they find out, you'll lose everything. Cole gave a soft laugh. If I don't use it, he'll lose his life. I think the choice is clear. She watched silently as he prepared the injection. His hands were steady, but his eyes held a shadow of worry. He pressed the needle gently into Rin's arm. The boy gasped, then relaxed, his breathing slowing. After a moment, the dull glow of his veins brightened again, soft blue, pulsing like a heartbeat. Lyra covered her mouth, tears slipping down her cheeks. It's working, she whispered. Cole nodded. He'll sleep now. The medicine will fight the infection. She looked at him, confused. Why do you care, my people? Humans call us useless, dangerous, dirty. The doctor leaned back, tired. That's what fear does. It makes people cruel. He looked out the window at the rising light of the twin suns. My mother used to say, we all bleed the same under different skies. I never understood that until the wars ended. When I saw the camps, the sick, the hungry, I decided being a doctor meant helping anyone who needs it, human or not. Lyra didn't fully understand his words, but she understood his heart. For the first time since her parents died, she felt safe near someone. A small sound interrupted them, a faint beep from the door console. Cole froze. They're scanning the clinic again. Lyra panicked. We must hide. No, he said. Running again will make it worse. If they find us hiding, they'll think you infected me. She stared at him. Then what do we do? He thought quickly, then took off his white coat and handed it to her. Put this on. Keep your head down. You'll walk beside me like an assistant. Maybe they won't notice. Lyra hesitated, then slipped into the coat. It was far too large, but it covered her glowing skin. Moments later, 2 guards stepped in. One scanned the room while the other spoke sharply. Dr. Cole, you were seen treating a glimmer yesterday. Explain. Cole folded his arms. I treat whoever needs care. That's my job, the guard frowned. The law forbids medical aid to alien minors without authorization. The law also forbids letting children die in the streets, Cole replied. His voice was calm, but his heart raced. The guards exchanged looks. One raised his scanner toward Lyra. And who's that? My trainee, Cole said quickly. She started yesterday. Still learning, the guard hesitated. The coat hid most of her features, and her lowered face helped the lie. After a long pause, the man finally said, If you're hiding something, Doctor, we'll find out. You've already been flagged for unusual activity. They left, the door hissing shut behind them. Cole exhaled slowly, leaning against the wall. Lyra's hands shook as she removed the coat. They almost saw me, he nodded. They'll be back soon. We can't stay here anymore. Rin stirred, whispering in his sleep. Cole looked at him, then back at Lyra. When he wakes, you both must leave the station. There's a transport leaving for the outer colonies tonight. I'll get you aboard. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. You'll be caught if you help us again. He smiled faintly. Maybe, but if kindness is a crime, I'll take the punishment. She wanted to argue, but the words stuck in her throat. The man who risked everything for her brother didn't look like a criminal. He looked like hope. Outside, alarms began to sound in the distance. Cole turned toward the window. They're tightening patrols. We move when darkness comes. Lyra nodded slowly, clutching her brother's hand. The medicine had brought him back from death. But it had also bound her fate to the human doctor forever. And as the red lights of warning flashed across the city sky, Lyra realized something she had never believed before. Sometimes, the forbidden kindness of one heart can burn brighter than all the laws in the galaxy. Night fell early on Varan Station, turning the upper lights red while the lower streets drowned in shadows. Dr. Cole's clinic looked empty from outside, but inside, every second counted. The boy Rin slept under a thermal blanket, his breathing slow but steady. Beside him, Lyra sat quietly, holding his hand, whispering something in her alien tongue, a prayer older than the stars. Cole worked quickly, packing medical tools and sealing small vials into a case. He moved like a man who had done this before, a man used to hiding truth from power. We have to leave before sunrise, he said. Lyra looked up. But the medicine, does he still need more? Yes, this infection is deep. One dose started the fight, but without a full course, it'll come back stronger. He sighed. The only complete supply is locked in the human medical vault. I can't access it anymore, she frowned. Then we can't go? Cole looked at her, young, frightened, yet still fierce. We'll go, he said. But first, we take what we need. He switched off the main lights and pressed a code into his wrist device. A hidden door slid open in the floor, revealing a narrow passage filled with old wires and dust. Lyra blinked. What is this place? An old maintenance shaft, he replied. Before the law changed, I used it to move medicine for refugees. It still connects to the central vault. She hesitated. If they catch us, they won't, he said, though his eyes betrayed doubt. Stay close. They descended quietly, the metal walls echoing faintly with their footsteps. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Pipes dripped water, and somewhere far above, patrol drones hummed through the city. Lyra held her small lantern, its soft blue glow lighting the path. Why did humans make these laws? She asked suddenly. Cole sighed. Fear. After the war, people blamed aliens for every loss. Politicians promised safety and the people believed them. It's easier to build walls than to build trust. Lyra walked in silence for a while before whispering, But you're not afraid. He gave a faint smile. I'm still afraid. I just don't let fear decide who deserves help. The tunnel ended at a sealed door. Cole entered another code and the panel flickered green. Inside lay rows of glowing containers, the vault. Each held precious vials of advanced medicine, guarded by silent security drones hanging from the ceiling like metal spiders. Lyra's eyes widened. How will we take it without waking them? Slowly, Cole said, voice low, and quietly. He moved carefully between the shelves, scanning labels. Lyra followed, her heart pounding. She could hear the soft buzz of power lines above and the quiet hum of the drones, sleeping but alive. Finally, Cole found the right container. He lifted several vials and placed them in a small case. As he turned, one of the shelves rattled when a loose tool had fallen. The sound echoed. A red light flashed across the ceiling. The drones came to life. Cole grabbed Lyra's hand. Run! They sprinted back through the tunnel as beams of light shot past them. A warning siren blared. Unauthorized access detected. Cole slid the hatch shut behind them just as a bolt scorched the door. They tumbled onto the floor of his clinic, gasping for breath. Lyra looked at the small case in his hands. You got it? He opened it, all vials intact. We got it. She stared at him, amazed. You risked your life. For us, he smiled tiredly. That's what doctors do. A faint groan interrupted them. Rin was awake. His eyes blinked open, glowing soft blue again. Lyra, he whispered weakly. She rushed to him, tears shining. You're safe, Rin. The human saved you. Cole knelt beside him, injecting the next dose. You'll feel better soon, but you both must rest. We leave when the sirens stop. Rin looked at the human curiously. Why are you helping us? Cole paused, meeting his gaze. Because your sister reminded me what courage looks like. Lyra looked away, embarrassed, but her heart felt warm. No one had ever said such words to her before. Outside, the alarms faded slowly. The city above returned to its usual hum, unaware that beneath its perfect order, a human and two aliens had broken one of the galaxy's strictest laws. As the first light of dawn crept through the cracks, Cole sat by the window, watching the stars fade. Lyra's quiet voice broke the silence. When this is over, will you be punished? He nodded slightly. Probably. She looked at her sleeping brother, then back at him. Then I'll find a way to repay you. Cole smiled softly. Just promise me one thing. What? When your brother grows strong again, don't teach him to fear humans. Teach him to see them, the good and the bad, just as they are. Lyra nodded slowly, the promise sinking deep into her heart. Outside, a patrol ship roared overhead, its searchlights scanning the streets. Inside, a human doctor guarded two alien lives, and for the first time, Lyra began to believe that maybe not all humans were cruel. The morning air inside Varan Station felt heavy, like the city itself knew something was about to break. Outside Dr. Cole's clinic, patrol ships hovered low, their lights scanning every street. The station's loudspeakers repeated the same cold message. Attention, citizens. A human doctor has violated interspecies law. Any information about unauthorized medical activity must be reported. Lyra stood by the window, staring at the red lights flashing in the distance. They're looking for you, she whispered. Dr. Cole didn't answer. He was packing the last of the medicine into a small travel case. His movements were quick, practiced, but his eyes were tired. We don't have time, he said. We'll leave through the cargo tunnels. There's a ship heading to the outer colonies tonight. I'll get you aboard. Lyra looked down at her brother, Rin, still weak but awake. Can he walk? Rin nodded faintly. I can try, Cole smiled. That's my brave patient. He helped the boy to his feet and led them through the back door. The clinic was silent, too silent. Dust floated in the air, and the faint smell of burned metal still lingered from the night before. Every sound, every footstep, echoed like thunder in Lyra's ears. Halfway down the corridor they froze. A metallic click came from the hallway ahead. Cole raised his hand. Stay behind me. The sound grew louder, footsteps, armor clanking, and voices. A moment later, 3 human guards appeared from the shadows, rifles glowing red. There he is, one shouted. Dr. Cole, step away from the aliens. Lyra's heart stopped. Rin clung to her arm, trembling. Cole lifted his hands slowly. They're children, he said calmly. They're not a threat. The lead guard stepped forward. You know the penalty for aiding alien species. You're under arrest for treason against the human accord. Treason? Cole's voice broke slightly. For saving a life. The guard didn't answer. He raised his weapon. On your knees, doctor. For a second, everything went still, even the air. Then, from somewhere behind the guards, a small maintenance drone buzzed and flashed red. It was recording. Lyra's eyes widened. She remembered the drone from the market, the one that had seen everything. It must have sent the footage to the authorities. It was watching us, she whispered. Cole looked at her, realization dawning. The discovery wasn't luck. It was proof. The system had seen his kindness and labeled it a crime. He turned back to the guards. At least let the children go. No, the lead guard said coldly. Their evidence, Lyra's fear twisted into anger. We're not things. she shouted. "We're people." The guard's hand twitched toward his gun. Cole stepped between them. "Don't you dare. Move aside, Doctor. No." The silence that followed felt endless. The tension snapped when another guard barked, "Take him!" Two soldiers grabbed Cole's arms. Lyra tried to reach him, but one of them pushed her back roughly. Rin cried out, "Leave him alone!" Cole met Lyra's eyes. "Don't run this time," he said softly. "You'll survive. That's how you'll thank me." Before she could speak, they dragged him away. The sound of his footsteps faded down the metal hall. Then the door sealed shut behind them. Lyra fell to her knees, shaking. He saved us," she whispered. Rin crawled close and hugged her tightly. "He'll be okay, right?" She couldn't answer. Her throat felt like it was closing. All she could hear were the doctor's words, "Don't run this time." Hours passed. The city outside buzzed with news. Screens on every corner displayed the human doctor's face, Dr. Elias Cole, accused of violating medical law and endangering species separation protocols. His trial was scheduled for the next day. Lyra watched from a dark alley, her hood pulled low. Every broadcast called him a criminal. Every headline twisted his kindness into betrayal, but she knew the truth. "He's not a traitor," she whispered. "He's a healer." Rin clutched her hand. "Can we save him?" She looked at her brother's small face and alive because of that human's courage. Her fear hardened into something else. Determination. "Yes," she said finally. "We'll save him. Just like he saved you." The next morning, the twin suns rose over Varan Station, painting the metal towers gold. From the prison district, a single ship carried Dr. Cole toward the central court. And from the shadows, a silver-haired alien girl watched, her hair short, her heart strong, her promise unbroken. For the first time, Lyra wasn't afraid. She was ready to fight for the one human who had believed she was worth saving. And somewhere deep in the station's endless maze, destiny began to move again. The screens of Varan Station glowed bright the next morning. News filled every corner of the city. Dr. Elias Cole, human doctor charged with aiding alien fugitives. Trial begins today. Lyra watched the broadcast from a crowded street. Her hood was low, her silver hair hidden. Around her, people whispered, some angry, some curious, none kind. Rin tugged her sleeve. "They say he'll be punished today," he whispered. Lyra's throat tightened. "They're lying," she said softly. "He's not a criminal," but deep inside she feared the truth. She had seen what humans did to those who broke their laws. The trial was held in the Central Human Court, a tall glass building guarded by soldiers in white armor. Reporters floated in the air on small drone cams, recording every second. Inside, the courtroom gleamed with cold light and silence. Dr. Cole stood in the center, hands cuffed in front of him. His face was tired, but his eyes were calm. A voice echoed through the hall. "Dr. Elias Cole, you are charged with violating the human accord by treating alien minors without authorization. Do you deny this?" Cole lifted his head. "I do not deny it." Gasps filled the room. The prosecutor, a tall woman with a sharp face, stepped forward. "Then you admit you broke the law?" "I admit I saved 2 children," Cole said simply. The woman's lips curled. "You endangered every human on this station by crossing species boundaries. You chose aliens over your own kind?" Cole's reply was quiet but strong. "I chose life over hate," the crowd murmured. Some humans shouted insults. Others looked uneasy. The judge raised his hand for silence. "Doctor, the law exists to keep peace between races. Emotion has no place here." Cole met his gaze. "Then maybe your peace is built on cruelty." The courtroom buzzed with anger. The judge frowned. "Enough. This court will decide your sentence." Outside, Lyra and Rin hid in the crowd. The guards had locked every gate, but Lyra's eyes never left the door where they had taken him. "We can't just wait," Rin said. "He'll die." Lyra clenched her fists. "I won't let that happen." She looked around, guards, drones, reporters. The crowd was too big. Getting close would be impossible. But then her eyes landed on something. A service vent near the court's back wall. Small, narrow, but maybe enough for her. "Rin, stay here," she said. "No." "Please," she whispered. "If I don't come back, you must find the ship he wanted us to take. You have to live." He stared at her, eyes wet. But she hugged him quickly. "Be brave, little star." Then she ran. Inside the vent, the air was hot and full of dust. Lyra crawled through, her heart pounding. Voices echoed below her, the trial still going on. She reached a grate and peered through. Cole was still standing, facing his accusers. The prosecutor raised her hand. You will be stripped of your license and exiled from human territory. Do you understand the punishment? Cole took a deep breath. I understand. Do you regret your actions? He looked up, not at her, but toward the crowd of humans watching. No, he said. Because when I looked at that alien girl, I didn't see an enemy. I saw a child who wanted to live. And if that's a crime? He smiled faintly. Then I'll accept it. The judge slammed his gavel. Enough, guards, take him away. The door opened, and at that moment Lyra kicked the grate open and jumped down. Gasps filled the hall. Soldiers raised their guns, but she threw herself between them and the doctor. Stop, she cried. He saved my brother. He saved me. The judge froze. Who are you? I'm the alien you call a crime, Lyra said, her voice shaking but loud. He risked everything to save a dying child. He didn't break the law. He honored life. The room fell silent. Every camera turned toward her. Her short hair shimmered under the lights, the glow of her veins visible again. He taught me humans can be kind, she continued. Don't punish the only one who proved it true. For a long moment, no one moved. Even the judge seemed unsure. Then slowly, people in the crowd began to whisper. A few lowered their heads. A few even clapped quietly. The guards hesitated. The prosecutor looked furious but powerless. Cole whispered, Lyra, you shouldn't have come. She smiled through her tears. You said I should thank you by surviving. This is how I survive. By fighting for you. Outside the court, the news spread faster than light. The alien girl who stood for a human doctor. The system couldn't hide it. The story had escaped control. And as the sun set again over Varen Station, a quiet storm began to rise. One that would soon change both their worlds forever. The twin suns rose high above Varen Station, washing the glass towers in gold. The trial of Dr. Elias Cole had ended in silence, but the silence was louder than any war. The moment Lyra stepped into that courtroom, something inside the people watching had changed. Something they could never take back. Now the streets were filled with whispers. The alien girl, she spoke for a human. Maybe the doctor wasn't a traitor. Maybe he was right. The word spread through the markets, through the news screens, even through the military halls. And in the middle of all that, Cole sat in a small prison cell, staring at the cold light above him. He wasn't afraid. He had accepted his fate. But he couldn't stop thinking about her, the little alien girl who had defied an entire system for him. Hours later, footsteps echoed down the corridor. A guard unlocked the cell door. Cole, you have visitors. The doctor looked up. Standing behind the guard was the same judge who had sentenced him, but his expression was different now, softer, almost uncertain. The court has reconsidered, the judge said quietly. Your trial caused unrest across the station. Public support is growing. Even the media questions the verdict. Cole blinked. Reconsidered? The judge nodded slowly. The council has ordered your release. You are free. He stood frozen for a long moment. And the girl? The judge hesitated. She's waiting outside. When the door opened, sunlight poured into the dark corridor. Lyra stood there, on hair short, eyes bright, holding her brother's hand. Rin smiled shyly. Doctor. Cole's heart lifted for the first time in days. You're both safe. Lyra nodded. Because of you. She held out a small data chip, the case log from the trial. They couldn't hide it. The whole station saw the truth, he smiled faintly. You did that, she shook her head. We both did. They walked out together into the open air of the upper deck. For the first time, the people didn't turn away when they saw Lyra. Some even nodded. Others whispered softly, but there was no anger in their voices now, and only wonder. Cole looked up at the sky. The ships moved like silver birds between the suns. The council won't change overnight, he said. There will still be hate. Still be fear. Lyra looked at him with quiet determination. But now they've seen something they can't unsee, or a human who cared. He smiled. And an alien who dared to stand for one. Rin tugged on his sleeve. Doctor, will you leave now? Cole hesitated. I should. I've been marked as unfit to serve in the human sector. If I stay, I'll only cause more trouble. Lyra looked down, sadness flickering in her eyes. Where will you go? He looked out toward the stars. There are colonies far from here, places where the laws are weaker but hope is stronger. Maybe I can start again there. A free clinic. For anyone who needs it, Rin smiled. Then we'll help you. Lyra's eyes widened. Rin, he continued, you saved us. We can help others too. Cole chuckled softly. You're brave, both of you. But that path is dangerous. Lyra took a step closer. So is kindness, she said simply. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Then Cole nodded slowly. All right, we go together. That night, under the twin moons, they boarded a small cargo ship. The engines hummed and the city lights faded behind them. From the window, Lyra could see the glowing curve of Varan Station shrinking into the distance. Do you think they'll remember us? She asked. Cole looked out, eyes soft. Maybe, maybe not. But what matters is that we remember them. The ones who will come after, who will see us not as different but the same. Lyra smiled faintly, resting her head against the cold glass. My mother used to say stars are promises we make to the sky. Maybe this is ours, he glanced at her. Then let's make it count. As the ship entered deep space, the stars stretched across the black like rivers of light. The doctor, the alien girl, and her little brother sat together in quiet peace. No walls, no laws, just the endless universe ahead. Somewhere behind them, the first protests began on Varan Station. Humans and aliens standing side by side, holding signs that read, "Kindness is not treason." We all bleed the same under different skies. And as the ship drifted farther from the station, Lyra whispered to herself, he saved us, and we saved him. Maybe that's how peace begins. The stars outside flickered brighter, like they were listening, and for the first time in her life, Lyra didn't feel small anymore. She felt infinite,